Welcome to the JobPack podcast, where we get practical insights from job seekers and professionals in less than 10 minutes. I'm Debashish Mishra, and today I'm pleased to welcome to the show Kate Pozeznik with Quirk Personal Branding and Career Consulting. Kate is one of the fastest growing voices on the new social platform Clubhouse, and if you haven't checked her out, I highly recommend it. Kate, welcome and tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I've been very excited and looking forward to the opportunity. Yes, my name is Kate with Quirk Personal Branding and Career Consulting, and I help accelerate the careers of executives and rising professionals. Typically, I get a little questions like, how long should my resume be? What do I need to do first before starting my job search? Or how can I build my personal brand and online presence? So my clients get answers to their questions and also benefit from curated career materials and an authentic personal brand that promotes career advancement, higher salaries, and life satisfaction. So that's kind of in a nutshell what I do. I provide some executive resumes and LinkedIn profiles, personal branding strategy, job search help, and interview preparation. So sort of the gamut from beginning your job search all the way through a job search negotiation or job offer negotiation.
That's fantastic. All of that is super necessary, and then of course not always easy to pick up. So great to have somebody with your expertise out there. Now, tell me, what are you seeing, Kate, out in the job market today?
Yeah, so we were just briefly talking about this right before we started. I'm seeing a lot of mobility throughout the job market, and what I mean by that is there have been several studies that have come out and engaged the job satisfaction of people. And there's still figures around 50% or more of people who are discontent with their jobs and career. And surely that has been amplified by the pandemic. People are becoming more introspective. They're thinking about, is this job what I want to continue doing? And then they start looking to make career transitions and shifts. So I see a lot of people getting trained or educated to get upskilled, gain experience through internships, and then crossing from one discipline to a totally different one. I was talking to someone yesterday who has managed a short-term rental property management company for the last 20 years, and he's shifting into data science, complete 180. So seeing a lot of mobility and increased competition.
Yeah, it's been really interesting, I think, with the pandemic that, people have the opportunity, I think, to retrain and learn new skills and do something with all the downtime maybe that they've had. But I certainly agree. I see a lot of transition myself. Now, obviously, in this job market, it's pretty competitive. What are successful job seekers doing to be able to stand out in that crowd?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's one that I frequently get. I would say the first thing that you really need to do is make sure that you have a tight, modern, and compelling resume. You really need to be able to articulate what you do best, why you do it, and how you do it better or differently from your peer candidates. And what that requires is, being able to identify the things that you've accomplished in your past experience, and then being able to translate how the skills that you had grown are indicative of success in a future role. I can't emphasize how important this is to be able to give examples of your experience and how it links up to how well you'll perform future. Along with that, I would also say you must really be authentic, be your true self. I truly believe that when we are our genuine selves, that we attract the job opportunities, people, and job opportunities that are going to be most fulfilling to you.
Yeah, so important, having that authenticity, because I think it really shows when you're not, which is unfortunate, right? Like it really impacts you. But it's so funny, the fundamentals, right? As much as job seeking has changed, at the end of the day, the resume still is one of the most important documents that you need, right? Great insight. And in terms of people who are looking, what's the best job advice that you give to job seekers, right? Like if there's one thing that really just the thing they need to think about, what would that be?
Being really strategic. I always advise that people start with identifying what types of roles they want to do first, And then think about narrowing down industries, right? So a lot of people just search for their dream job without really thinking about, is this a company that I'd like to work for? Is this industry dying or thriving? And so I always suggest that people start really wide and then narrow in, and make sure that you're focusing on the roles that are going to be the very best fit. So this really requires knowing exactly what you want, because you really can't effectively look for a job if you don't know what you're looking for, right? So if you're not sure what that is, you need to do some introspection, do some research, and even talk to others if you need help figuring that out.
So important. I know when I was doing my job search last year, that was one of the challenges I had, is that I had so many skills and I was kind of like, I'll do anything. And people really couldn't help me because I didn't know what it was that I wanted to do. It's so important to spend that time, as you mentioned, to introspect and figure that out.
Yes, I've been there. And here's the thing, guys, you're going to have to do this multiple times through the course of your career, right? So just know that things change and it's okay. But probably every year you should be thinking about, is this what I want to continue doing? And then really kind of sitting down and thinking about what's most important to you. There is one more thing I would add, which is, not only in your resume and LinkedIn profile, but when you're interviewing or having conversations about the possibility of taking a role, you really need to focus on the benefits to the business. Because a lot of times we want to focus on the responsibilities and duties that we've had, but we fail to make the connection to what we've done and how it supports or propels a business forward. So I would also emphasize making sure that you're really clear on what a industry challenge is, what the business is struggling with, and having an understanding of how you are going to help solve those problems.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, those companies are interested in what you can do for them, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's important for the selling point. So it's just out of curiosity, what was your first job?
Oh my gosh, you guys are gonna love, you're gonna love this. So technically, it was babysitting, which I really loved and have some stories from that. But my first paid official job was working at Arby's in the drive-through, which is funny in so many different ways. There's a lot of jokes around Arby's right now because they're still popping up, but no one seems to ever be there. So anyways, I worked there. I wore the ugliest uniform ever. And oftentimes I smelled like beef. So it was quite an experience. I was a teenager at the time.
Yeah, and how do those voices come over the intercom?
Ooh, I would say not so great. It's not the most flattering. We have much better technology today, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been super fantastic, Kate. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your guidance and your expertise. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
I really enjoyed being here. Thanks so much for having me. You've been a fantastic and gracious host.
This is Kate Pozeznik with Kirk Personal Branding and Career Consulting. I'll have Kate's contact information in the show notes, and especially what her Clubhouse handle is so you can find her easily. And I want to thank you for tuning into the podcast. JobPack is a virtual job club that connects job seekers to accelerate job seeking success. And you can find out more about it at jobpack.co. And you can also subscribe to the podcast there or on other major podcasting platforms. And I want to close by reminding you that job seeking is hard. Don't do it alone. Join the pack, and we'll see you next time. Take care.